She stitched his bullet wounds in a dark alley without asking his name. And 8 months later, when the sergeant threw her badge in the trash, the most dangerous man in the city decided it was time to repay his debt. The fluorescent lights of St. Michael's ER buzzed like dying flies. Amelia Chen moved between gurneys with the kind of silence that made people forget she existed. She'd worked the overnight shift for 3 years straight, the shift no one wanted, the patients no one else would touch. Her hands were steady as she checked the IV drip on bed 7. An elderly homeless man gripped her wrist. "You're an angel," he whispered. Amelia's smile was small, practiced. "Just a nurse, Mr. Davis." But her mind was elsewhere. 8 months ago, rain hammering the alleyway behind her apartment. A man crumpled against the brick wall, blood pooling beneath him like spilled ink. His eyes, dark, unflinching even in agony, had locked onto hers. "Go!" he'd rasped in accented English. "They're coming back." She hadn't gone. She'd knelt in the field and stitched 3 bullet wounds with dental floss and a sewing needle while sirens wailed 6 blocks away. "Chen!" Dr. Vincent Cross's voice shattered her memory. He strode through the ER like he owned it. And in many ways, he did. Chief of surgery, donor, favorite, untouchable. Amelia straightened. "Yes, doctor. The labs and the gunshot wound in trauma too. Where are they?" "I sent them 20 minutes ago. The results should be." "Should be?" His voice rose. "Should be means nothing when a VIP patient is bleeding out." The ER went quiet. Nurses stopped chatting. Orderlies froze mid-step. Amelia kept her voice level. "Dr. Cross, the patient stabilized. I prioritize the cardiac arrest in." "I don't pay you to think. I pay you to follow orders." She wanted to say, "You don't pay me at all." But she had learned long ago that silence was safer than truth. In the corner by the vending machines, a man in a black suit lowered his newspaper. His face was expressionless, but his eyes, those eyes, hadn't blinked in 60 seconds. Tae-young had found her. Have you ever helped someone who later changed your life? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. The code blue alarm screamed through the ER at 3:47 a.m. Amelia sprinted toward Trauma 2, her sneakers squeaking against linoleum. The VIP patient, a city councilman, was seizing violently. She grabbed the chart. Her blood went cold. Dr. Cross had ordered 10 millions of diazepam. The patient's chart clearly noted a benzodiazepine allergy. It was highlighted. Impossible to miss. "He's crashing," the resident's voice cracked with panic. Amelia didn't hesitate. She grabbed the epinephrine, pushed past Cross, and administered the counteragent. 30 seconds later, the patient's vitals stabilized. Silence. Then Cross grabbed her arm so hard she felt bone grind against bone. "What the hell did you just do?" "You ordered the wrong medication. He's allergic to." "Are you calling me incompetent?" His face was inches from hers, spittle flying. "In front of my staff." "Dr. Cross, I was only—" His hand shot out and shoved her backward. She slammed into the supply cart, metal instruments clattering to the floor. The entire ER gasped. "You're nothing," Cross hissed. His fingers closed around her nurse's badge, ripping the lanyard from her neck with a violent yank. "You hear me? Nothing." He threw the badge into the biohazard trash. "Security, escort this woman out. She's terminated." Amelia's ears rang. The room tilted. She looked around at the faces of her colleagues, nurses she'd covered shifts for, doctors she'd saved from mistakes. No one moved. No one spoke. Then she saw him. The man in the black suit stood slowly. His face was carved from stone, but his hands, covered in tattoos that disappeared beneath expensive cuffs, were trembling. Tae-young's jaw clenched so tight she heard his teeth grind from across the room. The man who never showed emotion looked like he was about to burn the hospital down. 8 months earlier, the alley smelled like rust and rotten garbage. Amelia had taken a shortcut home from her shift, exhausted, barely aware of her surroundings. Then she'd seen him. A man collapsed against the wall, one hand pressed to his abdomen, blood seeping between his fingers. His shirt was shredded by bullets. His breathing came in shallow gasps. She should have called 911. She should have run. Instead, she dropped to her knees. "Don't move. I'm a nurse." His eyes snapped open, sharp, lethal, assessing. "You need to leave." His English was perfect, but edged with a Korean accent. "Now. You'll bleed out in 10 minutes. Better me than you." He tried to push her away. "They'll come back to finish this." Amelia pulled her scarf from her neck, wadding it against the worst wound. "Then we don't have much time." She'd worked with shaking hands and a pounding heart, no anesthetic, no proper tools, just determination and 3 years of ER training. She'd stitched him with thread from a sewing kit, whispering apologies every time he flinched. He never made a sound. When she'd finished, sirens wailed closer. His men arrived in black SUVs, guns drawn, eyes wild. The wounded man caught a wrist. "Your name?" "Amelia." "Why did you help me?" She'd met his gaze without fear. "Because everyone deserves to live." Then she disappeared into the rain before his men could stop her. Present day. Amelia stood in the hospital parking lot, her hands empty where her badge should be. Security had escorted her out like a criminal. She didn't cry. She'd learned years ago that tears were wasted on people who enjoyed causing pain. Behind her, expensive shoes clicked against asphalt. Amelia Chen. That voice. Low, controlled, unforgettable. She turned. Tae-young stood 3 feet away. Perfect suit, perfect posture, imperfect rage simmering beneath his skin. "You remember me." It wasn't a question. "You should have stayed gone," Amelia whispered. Her voice cracked despite her best efforts. "This isn't your fight." Tae-young stepped closer, up close. She could see the thin scar on his abdomen, her handiwork still visible beneath his pressed shirt. "The man who hurt you, his name." "It doesn't matter." "His name." The command in his voice made her flinch. This wasn't the bleeding stranger she'd saved. This was someone else entirely. Someone dangerous. Dr. Vincent Cross. But he's untouchable. He has the hospital board, donors, half the city council in his pocket. She wrapped her arms around herself. "I'm nobody. He made sure everyone knows it." "You saved my life when 20 men with guns couldn't." Tae-young's jaw tightened. "You are not nobody." Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. He answered in rapid Korean, his expression darkening. When he hung up, his eyes found hers again. "Go home. Lock your doors. Don't answer for anyone but me." "What are you going to do?" "What I should have done 8 months ago." He turned to leave, then paused. "You asked why you helped me that night. I never answered." Amelia waited. "Because you saw someone dying and didn't see his sins first. You saw a human being." His voice softened almost imperceptibly. "No one had looked at me that way in 20 years. He walked away and 3 black SUVs materialized from the shadows like sharks scenting blood. Amelia drove home in a daze. Her phone exploded with messages from colleagues, some sympathetic, most silent. The hospital had already released a statement. Amelia Chen terminated for gross negligence and patient endangerment. Lies. All lies. She sat on her apartment floor, staring at nothing. Across the street, hidden in darkness, 2 of Tae-young's men watched her window. The protection had already begun. Dr. Vincent Cross celebrated at Machello's. the restaurant where politicians made deals and surgeons made fortunes. He raised his wine glass to the hospital CEO, to removing problems before they become lawsuits. David Klein, CEO of St. Michael's, clinked glasses. That Chen girl was always too righteous for her own good. You did us a favor. Cross leaned back, smug. I have the medical board filing a complaint against her license tomorrow. She'll never work in healthcare again. Brutal, I like it. The restaurant hummed with expensive conversations and clinking silverware. No one noticed the man who entered alone, moving through the crowd like smoke. Tae-young stopped at a table. Cross looked up annoyed. This is a private conversation. I know. Tae-young pulled out a chair and sat down uninvited. His presence made the temperature drop 10 degrees. We need to discuss Amelia Chen. Cross's face flushed red. Who the hell are you? Tae-young placed his phone on the table. The screen showed a photo. Cross accepting a briefcase of cash from a pharmaceutical rep. Another photo. Cross covering up a surgical death. Another, falsified patient records. The CEO went pale. 48 hours, Tae-young said quietly. Reinstate Amelia Chen. Public apology. Full back pay and promotion to head nurse. Cross laughed. A brittle, desperate sound. You think you can blackmail me? I have senators on speed dial. I have friends who had. Tae-young stood. You had friends. Check your phone in 10 minutes. You'll see how quickly powerful men abandon sinking ships. He walked away without another word. Cross's phone buzzed. Then again, then continuously. Text after text from his friends. Can't help you. Don't contact me again. You're on your own. The CEO stared at Cross. What the hell did you do? But Cross was staring at the stranger's back, finally recognizing true power when he saw it, and realizing he just made an enemy of the wrong man. Amelia's doorbell rang at 6 a.m. She opened it to find a courier with a legal envelope. Lawsuit, medical malpractice, and patient endangerment. Her hands shook as she read. Dr. Cross claimed she'd administered unauthorized medication, endangered the councilman's life, and violated hospital protocol. The lawsuit demanded $2 million in damages. She had $857 in her bank account. By noon, the story hit local news. Rogue nurse sued after nearly killing city councilman. Cross had given interviews, his face the picture of concerned professionalism. Amelia couldn't afford a lawyer, couldn't fight this. She returned to the hospital anyway, not to work, but to clear her locker. She kept her head down, moving through corridors where she'd once belonged. Murderer? Someone whispered. She kept walking. At the main lobby, Cross was giving another interview. Cameras, reporters. He spotted her, and his eyes lit with malicious glee. There, he pointed. That's her, the nurse who nearly killed my patient. Every camera swung toward Amelia. She froze, trapped in the lights. Cross strode forward. You should be in jail. You're a disgrace to medicine. Amelia's voice came out steady despite everything. I saved that patient. You prescribed medication he was allergic to. I corrected your mistake. Liar! Cross raised his hand. It never landed. Fingers like iron caught his wrist mid-swing. Tae-young had appeared from nowhere, his grip crushing. Touch her again, Tae-young said softly, and I'll take your hands. Security rushed forward, then stopped cold when they saw the 20 men in dark suits now surrounding the lobby. Cross tried to jerk free. Let go of me. I'll have you arrested. Tae-young released him, and Cross stumbled backward. Amelia stared at her savior. You came. I never left. Tae-young's eyes stayed on Cross. And I'm just getting started. The lobby had gone silent. Reporters captured everything. The mysterious man in the suit, the surgeon's fear, The nurse's shock. Amelia's mind flooded with memories. His blood on her hands, his shallow breathing, the way he had looked at her in that alley like she was the first good thing he'd seen in years. "It really is you," she whispered. Tae-young's expression softened almost imperceptibly. "Did you think I'd forget the woman who saved my life? I thought you'd moved on. I've thought of nothing else for 8 months." His voice dropped low enough that only she could hear. "I've been watching, waiting, making sure you are safe." "Why didn't you?" "Because my world destroys everything it touches. I thought staying away would protect you." His jaw clenched. "I was wrong." Dr. Cross found his voice. "Security! Remove these criminals." No one moved. Tae-young's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then smiled, a cold, predatory expression. "Dr. Cross, check your news alerts." Cross pulled out his phone. His face drained of color. "Breaking. Chief surgeon under federal investigation for medical fraud. Malpractice cover-ups." The story was everywhere. Documents, photos, testimony from families of patients who died under his care. A decade of corruption exposed. In minutes. How? Cross's phone slipped from his shaking fingers. "You thought power came from money and connections," Tae-young said. "You were wrong. Real power is knowing where all the bodies are buried." He turned to Amelia and offered his hand. "Come, you don't belong in this place anymore." She hesitated, staring at his outstretched palm. Then she took it. His fingers closed around hers, warm, solid, real. As they walked toward the exit, cameras flashing, reporters shouting questions. Amelia realized something profound. She'd saved a stranger in an alley, and he'd returned to save her soul. 24 hours later, Dr. Vincent Cross's world had completely collapsed. The medical board suspended his license pending investigation. Federal agents raided his office. The hospital CEO resigned. Donors pulled funding. And Amelia sat in a lawyer's office. A lawyer she couldn't afford, but who appeared anyway, paid in full by an anonymous benefactor. "The lawsuit against you has been dropped," the lawyer said. "Dr. Cross is facing 17 counts of medical fraud and 11 wrongful death charges." Amelia couldn't process it. How did this happen so fast? The lawyer smiled. "Let's just say you have a very thorough friend." That evening, someone knocked on her apartment door. Tae-young stood in the hallway, looking almost uncomfortable. This man who commanded armies seemed uncertain, holding a small box. "May I come in?" She stepped aside. He moved through her tiny apartment, so different from the world he inhabited. When he finally spoke, his voice was raw. "I need to know why." Amelia frowned. "Why what?" "That night, in the alley, you could have died. My enemies were hunting me, but you stayed." He turned to face her. "I've spent 8 months trying to understand. People don't help me. They fear me, use me, betray me. But you—" "I'm a nurse," she said simply. "I see someone hurt. I help. It's not complicated." "It is to me." He set the box on her table. Inside was a nurse's badge, the one Cross had thrown away, cleaned, restored, mounted in a glass frame. "You told me everyone deserves to live," Tae-young said quietly. "No one had ever said that to me before. Not my family, not my men. You saw a dying stranger and chose mercy." Amelia's eyes burned. "You're returning the favor." "I'm repaying an impossible debt." The medical board hearing took place 3 weeks later. Dr. Vincent Cross lost his medical license permanently. Federal prosecutors offered Amelia immunity in exchange for testimony. She declined. "I'm not interested in revenge," she told them. "I just want to heal people." St. Michael's Hospital extended an official apology. They offered her position as director of nursing, triple her old salary, full authority over ER operations. She accepted on one condition: amnesty for every staff member who'd stayed silent during her humiliation. Fear makes people cruel, she'd said, but everyone deserves a second chance. On her first day back, the ER staff stood and applauded. Some cried. One nurse whispered, "We should have protected you. I'm sorry." Amelia simply smiled. "We protect each other from now on." That evening, she found Tae-young waiting outside the hospital. "I saw the news," he said, "Director of Nursing. You earned it. I couldn't have survived without you. You saved yourself the moment you chose compassion over fear." He hesitated. "I'm leaving the city. Business elsewhere." Her heart dropped. "Oh, but I'll be back." He reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, a gesture so gentle it contradicted everything he was. "I promise to protect you. That doesn't end just because the threat is gone." Tae-young, you showed me that mercy exists, even for men like me. His thumb brushed her cheek. "I won't forget that. Ever." He walked away. But this time, Amelia knew the truth. Some debts aren't about obligation. They're about connection. As his car disappeared into the night, her phone buzzed. "Until next time, Amelia. Tia." She smiled, touching the screen. The most dangerous man in the city had become her most loyal guardian, and somehow that felt exactly right. Have you ever witnessed someone's downfall after they underestimated the wrong person? Share your story below. Let's celebrate justice together. And if this story moved you, hit that subscribe button. More incredible tales coming your way.